And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, for this, well, technically last stream of the split, because starting next week we'll be heading into playoffs here at the Elite Series League of Legends 2nd Division. And tonight we have quite a few scores to settle, and in order to observe all that along with me, I have by my side none other than Fristana. Welcome back, Fristana.
Yeah, it's nice to be back. It's nice to be here. It's nice to be with you, and it's nice to have this last final match day, because there are some banger games coming up, especially because it's not done yet. We still have one team which could get into playoffs, so it will be an sporting match, and yeah, I'm really excited to see who will lock in the last playoff spot.
Yeah, indeed, because if we can take a look at the standings quickly and have me move my phone away.
Me as well.
We can see that the situation is still pretty close between Reapers Gaming and Pertinax. However, Reapers have been able to do kind of an upset, 2 days ago and last week by taking not only 1 but 2 wins against Dynasty, putting themselves in a really good spot in order to enter this playoffs. Of course, still 1 match ahead for them, as well as Pertinax, which are just behind them with 7 points, and thus also still in the run for that playoff spot. But it's not, they have less control over it than Reapers, because if we look at today's schedule now, we can see that Reapers will be playing against AURORA. They should come in as a favorite in that matchup, and Pertinax, should be coming in as a favorite there. And Reapers, I misspelled before. They will be playing Dynasty tonight. Wait, I have graphic is actually wrong.
Yes.
It's not been updated, but it should be. That was the schedule of Wednesday. GG.
Oh no.
Automatic updates. Don't rely too much on automation because it doesn't always work. GG machines. But yeah, let me quickly go to the league. There we go. Yeah, Reapers will be playing against AURORA. They should go in as a favorite in that matchup. Pertinax played them on Wednesday and took the win. And later on, Pertinax will be playing against Once Upon a Team. Should also go into that matchup as a favorite. So if both teams win, that's great for them. But Reapers will be confirming their spot in the playoffs. However, if they were to lose and Pertinax win, they would be tied and would have to look at their direct side-to-side head-to-head to see who wins the tie. And that would be a 1-1, meaning we would be going into a tiebreaker match. However, if Pertinax Reapers does win, they will be tied to Dynasty, and then we look at that head-to-head, and they're 2-0 for Reapers, meaning Reapers would be winning that tie and go as 3rd seed into the playoffs, which is a slight advantage then to go in as a 4th seed. But yeah, definitely very important matches for both teams, because Reapers, if they lose that match, they're in for a run against Pertinax. But if they win, they're safe. That's all good. Second match today will be incredibly interesting, because we have the return match between OMA and Rift Slavs, the 2 top teams currently here in the Elite Series LoL, which are currently tied as well, meaning the winner of this match will come out on top. OMA would be locked at 12 points, and Reapers would still have a chance to tie again with them, because they will be playing against Once Upon a Team later, because the match from, I believe it was last week, was delayed due to technical issues, and will be played today later on during the stream as last match, if I recall correctly. They would then be tied. Then we'd look once again at the head-to-head. If OMA has won, then it will be 1-1. We'll have a tiebreaker match to be played. However, if Rift Slavs immediately wins against OMA, they will definitely be 1st seed in the spring split and have the advantage going into playoffs. Wow.
nice to hear all that, and especially I think that the first match we will see today will be like the most important of all of that. Even though we can still swap around some of those standings, I believe if everything like works out like it should, so if we always say the underdog will lose against the favorites, then like Reapers probably will win, Rift maybe will win, but even though they could lose, I think they win against Once Upon a Team, and then of course Next should win against Once Upon a Team. So there could be a lot of those really clear 1-0s, but if one of those teams fail at this mission, then we might move around in the standings. So definitely really interesting. And to start all of that, like Reapers can just close the playoffs race with winning today, with winning in a couple of minutes, and for them that would be a huge achievement. I mean, we already talked in the season about Reapers. They came in as one of the qualifier teams, as well as Pertinax. Both teams came through the qualifier, so they both really would make a miracle run if they would get into the playoffs. So for both of them, it's really a huge achievement, and I think especially for Reapers, for the Italian org, it would mean a lot for them. So and they can just close it. They can just win, and they are in the playoffs. And especially with just winning 2 times against Dynasty, they have a lot of like confidence coming into this last match day of the regular season, and especially with a lot of confidence if they lock in playoffs with the win today, because then in playoffs they have so many wins backing them up that they might just have a good playoffs run as well. So that could be really interesting to see if they can manage to like keep up this upward momentum.
Yes, especially since we'll be seeing very soon how that goes, because here we have Champ Select has already started. We're ready for the fight. Both teams playing with their roster as usual, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. I think we'll be in for one hell of a matchup. Reapers games have all been really fun to cast, in my humble opinion. And Aurora has also shown that they do have some stuff up their sleeves, so let's see how that goes.
Definitely, and I think we will see some just those normal like target bans against Reapers, but no, we are missing at least Karma or Olaf. So normally against Reapers, you really want to take out the Olaf. Olaf right now really strong on top lane, maybe the strongest top laner in the league right now. But also you don't want to give Lore the Karma. So that's a really interesting decision of Aurora to let both be open, or if they ban away one, then Reapers just gets the other. So I think the best decision is to just leave both up, to maybe just trade 1 for 1 to get the Olaf for the Karma or the Karma for the Olaf. And that's exactly what they do right now. We have just 2 more support bans coming with Raka and with Cillian. Then of course like the classic bans against Aurora with the Draven, with the Viego. Especially the Viego is really huge against Haxu. And yeah, interesting draft. But Reapers just take the Tsaya, so no Karma, no Olaf. It's really interesting to see from Reapers.
Yes, definitely. You would expect it. For once, Karma is not banned, especially against them, that they just jump on the opportunity. Still a chance to pick her up right now. Maybe there's also just not the call for that Karma. At least they seem to be hesitant on their next pick. They'll be facing a Jarvan and a Gragas there already. There we have the Karma immediately on Lolo. That's fitting, or maybe it will be swapped out for Emil, because once again, especially in Reaper's hands, a very strong flex peak, because we've seen Lolo on that Karma as well. Really good. And the Kindred has been very sparse here.
Yeah, and didn't we saw the Kindred from Trinket last time as well? I think Clawless Karma together with Trinket's Kindred, I think that worked once, especially against such an early Jarvan pick. Jarvan has such a horrible matchup against the Kindred, and like they already saw that they will play it, so that could be a rough time now for Aurora. I kind of like the Jarvan against Repass just because there could be an Olaf, so just like placing him into this little area always helps to play against him. So that could be like a preemptively counter pick for against Repass, and especially like Gragas can at least hold the line against Olaf with the face rush, just jumping on him, pressing Q, pressing auto attack, and then running out. Even though he gets slowed, the face rush just disables the slow. So Gragas is really safe against Olaf. It's not winning, but at least a safe pick. So I kind of like the draft from Aurora, but it just gives so much to Reapers, and they just instantly like counter picked it with Gamma and Kindred. And then we have the Fresh now in the end for Mirai. Just a couple of bands coming out, Blitzcrank Design, the Varus, and maybe even a second support, the second ADC. And with Jarvan, with Kragas, the Samira band definitely makes sense. So I'm really excited to see what Aurora has left in the tank in the team, in this team.
And that Yasuo could be interesting. We have quite a few knockups already with that Jarvan, the EQ combo. Gragas also. They do go for the Aphelios, works really well with that Thresh as well.
Yeah, probably the best two-man combo for Aphelios. Just having the Lantern always to save him, that works really, really fine. So usually in some drafts at least, you would have seen the Aphelios banned, for example. But especially with Gragas, with Jarvan, I can see why they banned the Samira. And there's the Fiddlesticks, and that worked well for them a couple of times already. So Reapers just like playing the same draft over and over again. They don't fear anything. And Olaf, I mean, 5 bans. Nobody banned Olaf. That would be quite a pick for him, especially because Wind is maybe one of the best Olaf players we could even see in this league. So definitely a huge pleasure to see him on that. And with this team comp, that could work. So I quite like the Reapers draft. They got everything they needed. They have the typical draft champions on most lanes. They have like the 2 strongest champions for Lolo and Wind. They have something that worked already for them with the Fiddlesticks, with the Kindred. And Saya's on this patch maybe one of the strongest ADCs. So Reaper's draft looks scary, man.
And Aurora now comes in with a Twitch pick. That's with that expression, that's pretty surprising.
Totally. Oh man.
But that's Haxu again. This guy he's just like, yeah, I don't know. Pick whatever. It's gonna, I'm fine. Just pick something.
Yeah, I mean, I even could have saw like the Twitch jungle just and swapping like the Jarvan to top lane just to get Jarvan out of the trinket of the Kindred matchup. That would have been a way to play it, and Jarvan top lane against Olaf would be horrible, but I mean he would survive probably, so could work. But Twitch mid lane, I mean that's they definitely have some cheese there for the red, and if it doesn't work, they probably just lost the draft because Twitch mid lane is really not good. I mean, he needs to kill some early people to really like to have an excuse to pick it. I mean, in the last 2 drafts where Haxu like picked up the Viego or the Kled, I mean, that was just amazing picks from him, and he played them a lot on solo queue, so I could understand it. But especially like Twitch in one of the most important games, at least for Reapers, I mean, that's really quite dangerous. And maybe that's exactly the cheese they need to beat them.
Yeah, but that's the thing I was going to say. Going up against Lolo's Karma as well will not be an easy task as a champion he is pretty good at. And Karma is just in general such an annoying champion to lane against with all the poke that's coming in. He needs to really surprise him in order to get a good hit on him. And even then, Karma stays relatively safe. You have W with the root that can save you. If you mantra it, you get some healing, which is always great, and especially against the Twitch can work really well. Plus the shield. It's not. I don't think he's gonna have an easy time against that Karma.
Oh, definitely. And like what we need to say there is that like Twitch struggles in the early game normally. I mean, he can do some early cheese, especially as jungler or as a support pick, just going on a lane and just uh, like killing them in the first few levels. But especially as an ADC, for example, you just get pushed in. You have no wave clear. You are really weak. Like there are some lanes with Lulu, for example, where Twitch ADC can really like go for some kills versus a weak bot lane. But normally you say Twitch as a scaling pick, as a late game pick, should lose the lane. And he plays against Karma. He plays against one of the best Karmas we have in the league. So he will just get pushed in 24/7. He can't kill her. She will probably even has the chance to kill him just because Karma is really strong. And yeah, it could be a really dangerous matchup and a free one for Reapers.
There we go. In game, we are Reapers versus Aurora. Both teams are in the Summoner's Rift running out, and seems like Reapers are gonna go and get an early catch here.
At least try it. Mirai, of course, as fresh, likes to invade as well, but they just try to go for the counter invade, which is really strong just because Fiddlesticks usually has a lot of CC if someone face checks him, so could be a dangerous one. But nobody is at least running into each other, so nothing should happen here. I'm so exciting to see Haxo on the Twitch. I'm so excited to see like Karma and Olaf. I mean, those two players like are really the star players of Reaper, and they both get like they're the most confident champion, and they even synergize with each other. Like Karma likes to speed up people, Olaf likes to be speeded up. So I mean, they just work as a duo. They are just really strong as a duo, and yeah, it could be a rough one for Aurora.
And backing that up, real also has Fire, which I think is most big and is most big champion in this league, and he's really comfortable on as well, and also really good on. Noted. So definitely a danger.
Yeah. That could be like a tough time, and you already see that this Twitch just gets poked a little bit, but of course he always has the chance to deal some damage back, and like that's the beauty about ADCs in the mid lane. Normally, they should out damage a lot of mages just because ADCs have a little bit more attack damage and a little bit more attack speed, so they usually like win those auto attack traits. But especially now he goes for the AP red with the Doran's ring, so that could be really spicy. And now we might have something brewing up here with like both junglers on the bot lane already, so they at least move towards the bot lane, and especially like Jarvan usually tries to avoid a Kindred just because Kindred, as long as she uses her jump in a precise way, she can always just jump out of the Fag track, so she's usually safe at least in this 1v1, and that's the reason why Kindred most of the times go into like into the aggressive just jungling into the Jarvan because they know they win the 1v1, and that's the reason why Jarvan usually tries to avoid it. But yeah, there's some trading here.
Yeah, meanwhile, yeah, on the top lane, the usual, both pretty low on mana already, and here we can see that Broda was setting up for gank, and we have a pause. Just as he gets there, but if he was spotted anyways, there was a ping. What's up with my camera?
I don't know. It just doesn't want to see you. But I want to see you. I mean, that's so sad.
And And
just,
I even got a haircut. Let's do this.
it's.
Let's get closer.
She tries to focus. Oh no, it just doesn't work.
I've also had the issue on Wednesday with Paul. It's had such a... There we go.
Oh, it's working. Nice.
Like, it didn't have any problems for the whole split. And now, Wednesday and today, just like, I don't want to do it anymore. I think maybe it's got like some dirt on it or something. Should wash maybe camera. See if it has a better time then. But yeah, a little pause. Maybe a player with some technical difficulties.
Could be.
And in the meantime, yeah, quite a bit of small action here and there. Top lane. It's always the same with those top laners, but this time there's something that's new, and they're almost out of mana. It is something. Now that I try to recall it, I don't think that the top laners usually had to stop the skirmishing because they were out of mana.
Yeah, Kragas just, in this matchup at least, it needs to farm with the Q. Just because if he just walks too far to the Olaf, he just tries to run you down. So usually Kragas will throw a lot of Qs on the minions and just try to be in a safe position. And like that's the reason why he is already. And he will probably just wait for 400 gold and go base and buy the Tear of Goddess. So I mean that's nothing unusual. He will just like hope that he is on 400 gold and then use teleport, be on lane, have mana, and it should be fine. And we saw a lot of mid lane trading as well. Like I think Haxu was really low, and if there's a gank maybe coming up and Haxu isn't prepared for that, then it could be first blood already. So definitely a lot of interesting matchups already. And yeah, hook doesn't connect, sadly. But still, nothing really bad happened for both of those teams. So they are still both in-game, and we will see who will do the first shot to victory.
Yes, we will. You know, Reaper's, although getting slightly ahead in terms of CSing, they do have kind of that comfort there to do so. I mean, Karma can just, as we mentioned, like just annoy Twitch at the end, push him out. Here we have Bro down the top lane. As Octomalus just went back, we flash in to get the stun for. He flashes out of the EQ's way, and he's able to flee. Beautiful flash.
Yeah, Vine just outplayed it there. And like he didn't like flashed passively and to the other side, but he flashed ahead of them. So he flashed into them, and that's usually quite unexpected for most people. And then of course with the Ghost, he can just run out of there. So really well played by the Olaf, and that definitely helps a lot for him to survive the lane. But now with the level 6 power spike of Rhoda, they could go for the follow-up gank and just trying to punish this flashless Olaf, for example. That could be a way, but also like if Octomalus is a little bit too aggressive now in lane, then Kindred could try to punish it as well. So using the flash offensively and you don't get the kill is not the best thing what can happen.
Yeah, and then we can see Trinket here setting up in the mid lane for a small gank. We get the flash out on Haxu, which is really nice for them. And yeah, now going towards that bot side. Drake is up, could be interesting for either jungler right now. Try to get a nice gank somewhere and go for that Drake. The bot lane of AURORA is backing, probably with that in mind.
Yeah, and they already got a lot of CS for them.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a little bait on Haxu, but no, they just want to push it out. But there's Trinket
goes in with the flash in order to get that kill on the Haxu. It's gonna be first blood for Reapers, and maybe the root does go through, but with Mirai there just in time with the Lantern, Broda is able to escape. Very good for them, because I believe Lolo had his mark on him. Trinket, sorry. had his mark on him. Yeah.
Yeah, well played by Trinket. Those repeat ganks are really strong, just because you punish, like you gank the first time, you get the flash, you gank the second time, you get the kill. So that works out a lot of the times. So really well played there by Reapers, but especially like they were the guys who responded to a play, because Broda tried to push out the lane with Haxu and got punished for this push. So really well played. Reapers just punishing small little misplays.
And look at that. Lolo just does whatever he wants. He can just run into the wave, he gets his root, Mantra Q, and he just does so much damage for Haxu, and Haxu just can't really compete with it.
Yeah, especially with this AP build of the red. You can't really, like, you don't get the 5 stacks onto Karma to really get the burst. So you can maybe throw your bottle, and after that maybe get 1 auto attack in, but after that you just got out traded, so you have just maybe 2 or 3 stacks, and then the burst isn't there. Meanwhile,
yeah, both junglers on the bot lane, we get a cleanse onto that hook, but Haxu in the middle of them is forced to use the lantern. Mirai once again there to save one of his teammates. And a top lane in the meantime, Octomalis does get a kill. We barely saw that with the directed cam. Mirai goes in with a flash and a hook that goes to the side. Lolo in the meantime just kind of annoying Broda there. AURORA right now in a good position.
and Octomalis, I mean, he just outplayed it on the top lane, and he just knew his damage. I mean, he had already like a big spike with the Lost Chapter, so he knew he could just burst. Ooh, the hit.
Ooh, the hook goes that. There was a one, it was a trap, a trinket. Luckily, it does have last report, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Alone picks up a kill on the enemy jungler.
Yeah, really well played there from AURORA. Just they don't give up. I mean, in the end, this game doesn't matter for them at least, but it matters a lot for Reapers.
And in the meantime, Reapers decided to make a move on the bot lane. It might get the kill on Ron. I have to see there, gets on the turret. Unfortunately, it does not find purchase, and Mirai just around the corner in that bush. Goes for the backport. No. Okay, that's safer.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe he can go for a sneaky hook there, or for a sneaky lantern play.
And especially with Broda, we saw the lantern, we know that something's coming, we get the knockup through Unreal MJ, but because of that the hook does not land, but it's no problem. We pick up a second kill on our AD carry on sides of AURORA. In the meantime, on the mid lane, the small 1v1, now Haxu was able to get some damage out on Lolo, who barely survives.
And he was burning the whole time, it was so close. But in the end, the Karma always wins. That's the sad thing. I mean, she has so many shields, so many heals.
Yeah.
It's unbelievably how strong this champion is on a 1v1. Because you can't kill her, and even though she might not kill you with the first strike, after like 20 Qs you are still dead, and she just kills herself with the Mantra W. So it's so annoying. And I know this matchup really well. With Poppy, it's unplayable. So I know how Haxu is feeling right now. It was really close, but in the end, Karma's just really strong. But there was the power from Twitch. Like after he got like the 5 stacks, there was a lot of burning for Lolo.
Yeah.
And he just survived it with the shields. So that was really close. Against every single other mage, he would have probably won this 1v1. But against Karma with those Mantra shields, it's just not winnable.
It's really funny that you mentioned the Karma Puppy matchup. Gives me kind of a throwback to when I was playing very actively top lane. I played the old Puppy and the old Karma on the top lane.
No.
It was like way back when, before the reworks. We get an engage here on the bot lane. The hook does go to Amiel, and we were able to save Lon, who was very low already. In the meantime, on the top lane, Octomalis found the engage and gets the kill on to win. Now, Broda, however, also down the bottom, we get another kill on the real MJ, who's having a really rough time there. Things are looking really good right now for AURORA. They seem to be winning the straights.
I mean, one thing we shouldn't forget is like the farm leads. I mean, you can see that even though they have like 3 kills more, they are just missing some gold, so they are still behind in gold. That's all on Lawler, for example. There should be a lot of gold lead, and yeah, that's really hard because they are not that behind at least. But like it's maybe the most important game for Reapers of the season. They are kind of struggling against Aurora. So really strong from them right now.
Especially Lon is at 3 kills, has his mythic item just done, and is also really well in terms of CS, almost at the same as Lolo. Now we get a catch, however, onto Mirai. Wasn't careful enough going towards that mid lane.
Yeah, they tried to flank it because they had like 2 people mid lane, and with the flank they could have maybe went for Lawler or something, but it was just Emal, and he was sitting in the brush, and he was just gatekeeping then, and now even going for a second kill. And like this Fiddlestick support pick really works out for them every single time.
Yeah. And with that move, they get the first turret onto the mid lane. Some nice pocket money for them. I mean, with now a gold lead of 2.5k, looking really good. It's especially concentrated onto Lolo. I believe Trinket should also be rather well into it. Finish Kraken Slayer. And in the meantime, top lane, it's always the same. But Aurora also do have the advantage. They have their AD carry, who's really well in this game. And Octomalus actually is not doing too bad himself, and could be some nice respite for Aurora in terms of AP damage, since Haxu is having a rough time getting into this game.
Oh no, the Fiddlesticks!
The Fiddlesticks going in onto Lon, but Lon is able to get out of it thanks to Mirai. Now we turn the situation around, we get a lot of damage onto Emil. Luckily for Reapers, we have the last respite, but Trinket does leave it and dies to the hands of Emil. Now it's Lolo who's gonna fall. That's the shutdown going to Lon. That's perfect for Aurora.
Yeah, and Octomalus should get out there as well. They can go for the second Drake, just won a whole team fight. And like, just playing it perfectly, even though they got the perfect Fiddlesticks ult against them. It's just a support Fiddlestick, so not a lot of damage coming out of there, and then they just played it perfectly front to back and just won this little skirmish and a second Drake. So that's really insane for them.
And you gotta give it to that bot lane of Aurora. Mirai and Lon are doing a fantastic job this game. Be it Mirai with some beautiful and really nice plays there that save his AD carry, and Lon who's just doing God's work in terms of damage there.
And if he would have more mana, then Octomalus probably would have went for the solo kill there. But in the end, he wouldn't have enough mana there to kill him, so he just played it safe. And of course, Emil was there as well. But now Haxu tries to sneak into it, and Vine doesn't know it.
Gets a very good position. We think we can go for the kill on Octomalus. Is forced to use Flash in order to save himself from Haxu, but now 3v2 Reapers can kind of return the favor. We get a nice fear on Haxu, and that's the kill going to Trinket.
It's so sad for Haxu. Like, it was a good try for him, but then just 3 people turned on the red, and the red is sadly no tank. Oh, there's a tower dive, maybe against Lolo.
Yeah, we get to turn. Look at this damage already from Lon. That should be an easy kill for the AD carry of Aurora.
And to be honest, with 6 kills already, I mean, this man can definitely like carry his team. I mean, he needs an early QSS against the Fiddlesticks, or even like an early Mirage, the item for the supporter who can cleanse stuff anyway. So they just need an early cleanse against like Fiddlesticks, Fear, and Fiddlestick Silence. Because after that, when they just cleanse out the Fear or the Silence, Furious can just always dive or dash out of the Fiddlesticks ult. He can just dash away from Wind. He can dash out of the Feathers. So but he needs to be like mobile with that, so early QSS, for example, would definitely work for him. But they may just play it safe enough that he doesn't need it, because if they just ward well enough or just win the team fights really strongly, then he doesn't need it. So It's always just risk reward. Should you really just buy a QSS to safety, or should you use the 1k or another BF swords, for example? So a dangerous decision for him.
And things are heating up here at the Herald Pit. We did not get it in the end for Aurora. We just gave a nice leash to Trinket, who then came in with his team in order to confirm it. Good try, however, for Aurora, but that's the second Herald going to Reapers. They made really good use of the first one in the mid lane in order to finish that turret off. How will they use the second one?
Yeah, I mean, Soul is definitely something that Aurora would like to get, especially like with those 3 frontlining champions. They have definitely a little bit more healing then, and even like Aphelios would survive a little longer.
Oh, we get a catch here on Lawn with the Perma Fear. We get the shutdown onto the real MJ. The rest of Aurora is now in there with Last Respite. Emil will not survive, barely, but we get a double kill here on Haksu.
They are burning.
They are burning, yeah. He got his Nashes too early, I want to mention, but I didn't get the chance to. So now he should be starting to get the damage out finally.
Yeah.
Things will be looking up.
And like it's really dangerous to kill the red, because like if he just gets a couple of auto attacks in, then everybody has like those stacks on them. So it's kind of like fighting against the Katos. Like the fight isn't over just because you killed them, because they are still burning after it. So that was especially after the Lamb's Respite, like they are all really low and just burned out of the Lamb's Respite and just died. So that was, but it was a really strong engage onto Aphelios, and like there's the reason why he definitely needs to QSS, or maybe even should have played with Cleanse.
And look at this now. Doing some nice damage there already. Once he gets the jump on someone, even Lolo is having a rough time there. Needs to flee and use the shield in order to survive the burn. Feel the burn.
Close. I mean, look at Lolo's health. It's maybe 100 or something. So that was a close one. And like they definitely planned out everything. Like Aurora planned out the whole draft. Especially you can see it on the top lane matchup, that they just know Wind will go for the Olaf, and they just have the Aphelios have a good team comp against Olaf, so everything worked out now. Engage.
Now we have Broda going in with the Cataclysm, getting some nice damage on to Emil, who is down before the fight really gets to him, and now we get a second kill on the enemy support. Wind, however, in the middle of Aurora, is able to get some nice damage on them, gets Haksu, the last damage dealer, alongside Octomalus. Now it's only Broda and Octomalus left for Aurora. Meanwhile, Lolo and the real MJ were able to flee, although really low.
Yeah, and it was low because of Haksu. I mean, this man, and especially the wombo combo between Broda and Haksu, just he places them all in the little area, and then Haksu can just throw the bullets into them and get the stacks, and even like his little bottle, you can throw it into the area of Traven, into the Cataclysm, so they get more stacks and just gone out. And then the backline just needs to get out of there, because otherwise they will probably die because of it. And like the biggest problem right now is that Aphelios just dies a little bit too quick, especially against Wind, especially against like the engage of Emil. So with a QSS, with a little bit better like positioning for the Aphelios, that's an easy win. And like just look at Octomalus, and he isn't even weak right now. So he will be a strong frontline. And like this Kragas pick, and just think about it, how well they planned out the draft. I mean, it all. I don't want to talk because Haksu wants to go in. I don't want to analyze. Haksu, stop it. Like they just planned it out so carefully. Like this Kragas and Jarvan pick, they knew with the Jarvan that Trinket will go for the Kindred, and Kragas just counters Kindred because he can just ult Kindred and the whole team out of the Lamb's Respite. So that's really working out. And then they just knew that they want to go for the Twitch probably, or for any wombo combo champion with Jarvan together, and they knew that they will go for the Olaf top lane. So with Optimalus being such a good Gragas player, he will outplay the matchup anyway. So that was no surprise for them. The Kindred was no surprise for them, and probably the Fiddlesticks was no surprise for them, because they just got that huge bot lane lead. So I think that Aurora just knew everything Reapers will pick here, and just drafted their best team comp against it. And like, that's really, really crazy. I mean, I almost blamed them for not banning Karma or Olaf, but it just works. They just know how to play it.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, the Karma was looking very dangerous, but now they've got it under control. Even Haksu was able to get into the game. He is able to easily 1v1 Lolo when he gets a jump on him now. And the Olaf, not banning Olaf, was definitely like, they had three bans because of that. They were able to skip out on one they should usually have, and it worked out perfectly for them, because while Wind is, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's really strong right now still in the game. He was the last survivor of the team fight. He was a bit dangerous, but Octomalus had him absolutely under control in the lane.
Yeah, and like, that's so crazy. Like, to predict the whole champ select, and to like counter them on most lanes, to like knowing what they will play in such an important game, and know they are like 2 minutes before Soul. They have a fat ADC, they have a fat top laner, they have a they have a really strong like two-piece wombo combo with Twitch and Jarvan. They have an easy engage, an easy follow-up. And then like lots and tons of disengage with the Krager spotter, with the box of Thresh, with the lantern. So they can even peel their backline really, really well. So what do you want more?
Oh, maybe catchy on Trinket. Unfortunately, for Reap is not. Yeah, I was gonna say, in the end, they especially have the right people fed. They have this really fed Aphelios, which is always strong, especially in their comp, which is really great in team fights. You know, Reapers is ahead in gold, but they're not able to fight head to head against Aurora, because most of their gold is concentrated. Was at the start concentrating on Lolo, and is now like spread evenly against everybody. Meaning no one is really strong enough to really make the difference, and unless they really get the great focus on lawn, which we've seen they're able to do, they have a really rough time. And even if they get lawn out of the equation, you still have Octomalus who's dishing a ton of damage out, or Haksu, who over time dishes really a lot of damage out.
And Soul is spawning soon, so right now that could be the most important minute of the game. If like someone finds a clutch engage or a really, really important catch, then Soul is just gone. And like, Reapers are in a really, really tough spot. Like, they have no control of the river right now.
Especially Emil.
Oh no, they can just catch him.
Seen. They saw it coming, and there, he is done. That's one player less for Reapers. We can go into a fight 5v4. Depending, we need to... Ooh, and here we have a hook onto Lolo. We can follow up on that. Nice Cataclysm coming in from Broda, splitting Reapers evenly, and now we can easily do a back from the... In the meantime, Haksu doing the 1v2 with a lot of damage. Lolo is also not going to survive for very long. Wow. That Cataclysm from Broda really set that fight up for them.
What a game from Aurora. They don't need to win it. They could even lose it, and it wouldn't matter for them. But they just crush Reapers, crush maybe the dreams of them, because if they win and Pertinax wins their game, then it would be a tiebreaker for playoffs. So just Aurora makes everything really, really spicy by winning it, and right now everything just looks like they will win it.
Yes, completely. And that does beg the question, what is up with those teams, especially also on Wednesday, coming in a fight as the technical underdog and yet doing so well, because Watt also had a really good run against Ripsloft today, so I can't wait to see what they have up against Pertinax. However, we have to be careful. Reapers are doing the Baron right now, but Broda came in to kind of interrupt them, and we already have a player down for Reapers, so we need to flee. If they get more picks, it will all be for nothing. Broda comes in, we will get that pig on wind, and that is already a pretty good start to get that Baron off of the Olaf.
Yeah.
But good move from Reapers.
Definitely. Just they almost like traded Soul for Baron, but like Soul is permanent. Baron is just like temporary. So if Reapers doesn't like get something out of the Soul.
Yeah, and there we have. We'll also have the pick on a real MJ. We just go for that tower dive. Trinket just around the corner. Luckily, he is able to not get sussed out.
But good catch. And then like those catches are really important to like keep up the momentum, keep up the pressure, and they now even get like a whole turret for that. Meanwhile, on top lane, there's maybe a turret falling for Aurora. Bot lane, there could be a turret falling, so they get a lot of gold back into their pockets. Now even like 2k ahead of Reapers, so
yeah.
And like losing turrets with Baron, like that's really bad for them. Just because you usually like can just save your turrets with the buffed minions and stuff, and usually you are the team who will like pushing the enemy team into their base. So like that's not a Baron power play, like that's sadly a Baron minus play for them right now.
No, it is a Baron power play, but from Aurora this time.
Yes,
right? I mean, you have to give it to them. They did good work. They came to the Baron just in time to get one pick and another one. With those delayed spawners, they decide, okay, we can just push them in, because even with Baron buff, 3v5, you're not able to do much. Plus, they were able to split Reapers away. We had Octomars on top lane taking care of Lolo. They were easily gonna dive on the mid lane. Real MJ, we have here Amiel going for maybe a pick, but Haxu survives pretty long. Support Fiddlesticks damage is not quite up to par. And Broda comes in to sweep him up here. And Haxu now, for the revenge, comes in, gets an easy kill on him. And now once again, another player down from Reapers. They're like barely 5 men right now. Aurora are able to pick them up one after the other.
Really strong right now for Aurora.
Yeah, and goes back in with the Cataclysm, and there we have them. 2 people just forced to stay in there. Lon gets the kill, a second kill going to Broda. And that's rough.
That's rough.
That's
Indeed.
rough, yeah.
That's so rough right now for Reapers, and like they could even go for finish call, but I would just go for inhib and recall after that. You don't need to overforce it. I mean, they could try, but they shouldn't. Oh, there's Amiel, maybe with a really good flank.
They're coming in from the side. Ultimate is down, but look at the damage they're doing to the turrets. Now they're going on to Amiel. Boom. Another delay time, and now with Haxu, they have the flank actually. 10 seconds until Wind respawns. If they get another pick on him, they have some really good chances. Real MJ barely survives the exploding cast. Nice timing here on the hook. And look at now, Lolo is out of the equation for 50 seconds. They can just keep the siege going. They get the first Nexus turret. Have to be careful slowly. Yeah, second Nexus turret is also falling like a fly pretty much. Now, Reapers is forced to go in, but we already have the kill onto Trinket. Real MJ also barely surviving, and we get the last kill. Ace going to Aurora as they finish the game up. Wow.
Yeah, what a wonderful game by Aurora, which means that the upcoming game, especially like with Once Upon a Team and Pertinax, that will be really important. I mean, if Once Upon a Team wins it, then it's over for Pertinax. But I mean, we could see a tiebreaker after today's match, so that's really nice for everybody. And like, I would like make to do a point, but sadly we couldn't make it for the stream. But I don't know. Do you guys know those pictures where you can see like one thing, but also another thing? Like there's like a really famous picture with like an old lady, but you can also see a young lady, or with a rabbit, but you could also see the wolf or something. And then it's always like the question, what do you see first? And like, I saw the perfect draft for Reapers. Like, I saw they get Wines Olaf, they get the Karma, like they get the counter pick King into Java, like they get the Fiddlesticks, which always worked and stuff. And I just saw this one draft, and I thought, yeah, it's over for Aurora, and Twitch will not mean anything and whatever. But now, after this game, I see like the second picture where they planned everything out and they just knew how to do it, and they just outplayed them in the draft totally. I mean, it's so crazy that now after the game I have a totally different point of view about this game. It's so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they did a really good job in the end. And it's like Paul said on Wednesday, everything is in Aurora's hands, and they decided to take a firm grasp at the situation and steer it outside of Reaper's favor, because as we've mentioned, Aurora is definitely out of the run for the playoffs. However, they are able to make Reaper's time a little rougher, giving Pertinax a better shot at getting back into it. But we'll see that in the third game of today, because the next one is none other than Ahoma Esports against Rift Slavs, the two top teams here in the second division Elite Series League of Legends. But we will be seeing that after a short break, probably as usually 10 to 15 minutes, and we'll see each other for that game very soon. So, see you soon.